Hello everyone, batching into our first 10 to 14 day musing video for the United States. So we do our weekend forecast for America, of course, late on a Thursday evening, and it's gone down pretty well. I think it's generated a little bit of a following, but I also thought if we could find a little bit of spare time, and I do have a quiet day on Mondays, if we could find a little bit of spare time, might be interesting to do like a musing type video for the 10 to 14 day time frame for America, and extending out to 4 weeks as well with CFSV2, kind of like what we do every day for the UK, but specific for the United States. So just trying out new things as always, trying out new content at the moment, so see how we get on with it. If you are enjoying our updates for the United States, if you find them useful, interesting and informative, then please give us a thumbs up on the video, and let us know in the comments that you are enjoying it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. All of these videos for the United States are exclusive to YouTube. So yes, please subscribe, and then you will be, if you click all notifications, you'll be notified when we're releasing the content for the United States and live streaming, and so on. Right then, so let's do it then. And we're going to start off looking at what's happening in the tropical Atlantic. So this is from the National Hurricane Center. We have got a disturbance area in the northern part of the Atlantic. It's a long way north. I don't think it's going to do a great deal. It's disturbance 1 with a 20% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours. They're saying shower activity associated with a large tropical low pressure system located several hundred miles southeast of Cape Cod, Massachusetts, remains disorganized. Below is moving slowly eastward, just north of the warm waters of the Gulf Stream, and tropical or subtropical development will remain unlikely if the system remains over unfavourable ocean conditions. The system is expected to weaken as it moves over even colder waters later today and on Tuesday. So it doesn't look like this is going to do a great deal. It's got a 20% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours. And a 20% chance in the next 5 days too. Now, I'm sure you've all heard that we have got dust being brought out of Saharan Africa by the upper level winds and moving across the Atlantic towards the United States. That's going to have an inhibiting impact on any sort of thunderstorm development in the tropical Atlantic. I can actually show you the upper level winds here. This is from a fantastic website called earthnullschool.net, and the links to all of the websites we're using in the videos can be found in the description at YouTube. So this is showing me upper level winds and jet streams and so on. So I'll just show you what's happening by using the highlighter here. So this of course is like Africa just here. It's going to be Saharan Africa just there. You can see the way that the arrows are pointing out of Africa, coming across the tropical Atlantic through there, and then heading over, there it goes, heading over towards America just here. So that's Florida just there, just so that everybody can know where you are in America. So this is Florida just here. This is like the eastern seaboard and the east coast of America, going up to Newfoundland and then up to Canada. That's Greenland, of course, just there. So these upper level winds are bringing the dust out of Saharan Africa, blowing it across the tropical Atlantic and into America. So yes, some parts of southern America, Texas, those sort of areas, maybe Florida, you could get a little bit of Saharan dust being brought in on these upper level winds blowing across the tropical Atlantic from the east. And this will have an inhibiting effect on the genesis of any tropical storms or hurricanes at the moment in the tropical Atlantic. These systems, these hurricanes, begin their genesis just as thunderstorms, really, just as clusters of thunderstorms and areas of thunderstorms coming off the African coast around the Cape Verde Islands, for example. So this sort of area just here, we get thunderstorms developing around there. Can develop thunderstorms in other parts of tropical Atlantic too, but this is a classic area where we have these clusters of thunderstorms developing around Cape Verde, and then the thunderstorms move across the tropical Atlantic. They pick up increasing amounts of energy from the warm waters, the hot waters of the tropical Atlantic. They develop into areas of low pressure, and those areas of low pressure develop into tropical depressions, and then they develop further into tropical storms, and eventually they develop into hurricanes. So they can develop into hurricanes, and then you can power up those hurricanes all the way from Category 1 to Category 5. But at the very beginning, all of these systems begin their life as just clusters of thunderstorms, and when we have dust blowing through the upper levels of the atmosphere through the tropical Atlantic, that will have an inhibiting impact, have an inhibiting effect on the development of these thunderstorms. So whilst we're bringing this dust out of Saharan Africa, we'll probably go through a quieter phase within the tropical Atlantic. Now, that doesn't rule out the chance of something developing in the Caribbean, though. So we could get something developing in the Caribbean. We could get something developing in the Gulf of Mexico as well. That sort of area is probably more likely at the moment to generate tropical storms and maybe hurricanes than like in these deep Atlantic waters that are currently being impacted by those upper level winds and by the dust coming out of Africa. But anyway, it always amazed me to see these sort of upper level winds. So do have a look at jet streams as well, of course. Do have a look at earthnullschool.net. I'm going to leave the link in the description. Really amazing website to see to see these upper level winds and jet streams and so on going on. Right, so let's have a look at weather next week's 10 days for the United States. So this is from the Penn State University. This is showing the ECMWF, which is going to be... I usually look at this like flipped over for the UK. So you normally be the ECM on the top and the GFS on the bottom. But on this view, I've not had to flip it over. So that means that and I've got to get this right, that means that the ECMWF is going to be on the left, and the GFS will be on the right of your screen as you're looking at it. So both models are actually building quite a big ridge across the northeastern part of the states in the 7 to 10 day time frame. So this is going to be quite a hot ridge that's developing here across northern and northeastern parts of the states. At the same time, got low pressure out towards the Pacific Northwest and another ridge off the coast of Alaska, just there, and north and off the coast of northwestern America. So the jet stream with this is going to be doing something a little bit like that. Yeah, we're going to be seeing quite a warm-up, I think, across many northern and eastern parts of America in the 7 to 10 day time frame. That ridge is going to start to promote hotter temperatures. The GFS, remember, that's the ECMWF you're looking at there on the left. The GFS is on the right. So again, same very similar scenario. Really got the ridge out here off the Pacific coast. Then we've got this trough in the northwest. That's going to keep things cooler and more unsettled there, which is quite typical. That part of America has quite a similar climate to the UK, actually. And then we've got this ridge over towards the northeast. That's going to be a hot ridge as well. That will bring hotter temperatures to northeastern parts of the states. In fact, many parts of the states are going to warm up in the week to 10 day time frame. It's pretty cool across some parts of America at the moment, particularly like breadbasket states in the Midwest, but we will be seeing temperatures getting hotter. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for Chicago. So the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Chicago. You can see that we're starting off just a little bit warmer than average at the moment, but temperatures are going to actually get quite cool in the next couple of days. However, as we go through to the end of June into the start of July, becoming hotter, we see those temperatures, upper air temperatures becoming quite hot. That's going to lift the temperatures into the upper 80s to 90s Fahrenheit, I would have thought, for Chicago. Going to be quite representative for quite a bit of the Midwest. Now, we also see a lot of precipitation, though. So we are going to be seeing plenty of heavy showers and thunderstorms, massive rainfall spikes coming through there, certainly for week 1. As we go through the first week of July, we may have a bit of a drying trend appearing there, but for the last week of June, there's going to be a lot of heavy thunderstorms, torrential rain and thunderstorms being triggered by initially the cool down and then the temperature lifting up. This is the temperature anomaly for the United States for the next week, from the 22nd to 30th of June. East-west split, really. So western and central parts of America warmer than average. Eastern parts of America a little bit on the cooler than average side. Expect these to warm up through the Midwest and going up to the northeast. Expect these anomaly maps to warm up in the next few days. The precipitation anomaly looks like that, so very dry in the southwest, of course, as you would expect. Those really hot southwestern states, very dry there. Otherwise, varying from area to area, northwestern parts of states a little bit more unsettled there, although over towards the Pacific coast itself, where we're close to that ridge of high pressure in the Pacific, then it is a little bit drier through there. And just varying from area to area, really, state to state. One or two of them are a little bit wetter than average, especially up here towards the Midwest, around the Great Lakes, big thunderstorms likely there. On the eastern seaboard, though, and down towards the southeast, towards Florida, does look rather drier than average in most states. Right then, so let's have a look at the GFS and see what that's showing. So this is going to be situation on Thursday. So on Thursday, we've got a trough of low pressure that's sitting in the north and northeast. That's going to bring cooler air and showery areas of rain, probably thunderstorms, in towards the northeast and some parts of the Midwest. So initially, we're starting off quite cool here in the northeast, although the east coast itself is actually warm. And then we come out into these western, southwestern states, and of course, it's a lot hotter through there. We go through to Friday and into Saturday, we're starting to get this ridge developing down in the southeast. That's going to begin to pull hotter air up from the south through these midwestern and eventually northeastern states. Notice the trough of low pressure in the northeast and through the north of the Midwest, that's beginning to move away up towards Canada and weaken as this ridge is building from the southeast. This is generally going to start to pull hotter air up from the south. At the same time, western, southwestern states remain really hot, cooler and more showery in the northeast. So as we go through the weekend into next week, we're going to see those hotter temperatures pushing up from the south. So these are the upper air temperatures that we're looking at here for Sunday, and again we can see that by Sunday it is turning a lot hotter across many parts of America, especially where it has been pretty cool with that trough of low pressure in the north and through the northeast. Hotter air is pushing northwards from the south. So most parts of the state are being pretty hot by the weekend. It's a little bit cooler up towards the northwest. Into next week, so we're going to be seeing more showers and slightly cooler temperatures up here in the northwest, but at the same time the Midwest and through to the east, again, we're still pulling up those hot southerly winds. And we move up towards day 10, and that's how we're looking. Then we're starting to dig a little bit of a trough of low pressure back in from Canada in towards some of those northern states. So begin to cool down a little bit through parts of the Midwest again by the time we get through to day 10, which is Thursday, the 2nd of July. However, most parts of America at this point are still looking pretty hot. We do take that heat right way up towards Canada as well as we get through towards day 10 into the far northeast of America. In the more extended range, it stays pretty warm really across many parts of the states, but there will be further heavy showers and thunderstorms. Now, very late on, let's scroll down, very late on. This is the 6th of July, so it's a long way out, but very late on, we've got something developing here in the Gulf of Mexico. That is an area of low pressure, and this GFS run actually moves that towards Texas by the time we get through to the 8th of July. That could be our next tropical storm, possibly a hurricane that the GFS is playing with for around the 6th, 7th, 8th of July in the Gulf of Mexico and heading up towards Texas. So that could be an early sort of heads up from the GFS. It's a long way out, really long way out. Most parts of America at this point are looking hot still, so hot through many parts of the states, a little bit cooler, the extreme north and northwest. But yes, that might be our next tropical storm or hurricane moving up towards the Gulf Coast of Texas there. Of course, it could be anywhere along that Gulf Coast. It may not even develop, but that's what the GFS is doing in its very extended range. This is the ECM, so again, the Euro has trough of low pressure in the northeast and cooler upper air temperatures there. So these are the upper air temperatures for Thursday. Cool, showery in the north and in the northeast too. Hot out in the west, of course. Now we go through the course of weekend, and same idea as the GFS really. We start to move that trough of low pressure up towards Canada. That weakens. A ridge begins to strengthen down in the southeast. This is going to bring much hotter air up from the south as we go into the weekend. We'll see those hot hot upper air temperatures pushing northwards. So by the time we get through to the end of the weekend, most parts of the states are looking hot or very hot. The far northwest, just here around Pacific coast, a little bit cooler there, but most parts of America looking hot with the upper air temperatures by the time we get through to the end of the weekend. I think this lists temperatures widely into the 80s and 90s Fahrenheit across most parts of the state, so a proper heat wave getting going. And of course, those southwestern states will see temperatures well into the hundreds Fahrenheit. Moving up towards day 10, again, we've got these hot southerly winds continuing. It's rather flat, so expect heavy showers and thunderstorms to be generated by these hot temperatures. But overall, it is a very warm or hot scene across most parts of states up to day 10 with the ECM, with the Euro. So again, we see widespread heat covering most parts of America from west coast to the east coast by the time we get through to day 10, which is, of course, Thursday, the 2nd of July. Again, we can't see anything happening in the Gulf of Mexico at this point. Remember, when the GFS develops this, it's just beyond this point, around the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th of July, that sort of time frame. So up to day 10, the Euro is not developing any tropical storms or whatnot in the Gulf of Mexico, but we shall see. Just have a very quick look at CFS-V2. So these are 500 millibar heights, and they're broken down into weekly periods. The first weekly period, let's just pull this out a little bit. The first weekly period is going to take us from the 22nd to the 28th of June. So this is the cool trough of low pressure we've got currently in the Midwest, in the northeast. And we've got this ridge off the Pacific coast of America as well. There is a bit of ridge down towards the southwest. So it's pretty cool and unsettled scene at the moment with this trough of low pressure in the northeast. However, as we go through to week 2, which takes us from the 22nd, from the 29th of June, I should say, to 5th of July, we find this ridge strengthening in the north. That's going to be a hot ridge. It's going to pull up hot air from the south across many parts of the states. We will see temperatures becoming much hotter. A little bit unsettled in the northwest, if that's a small trough of low pressure just there. Week 3 looks like that takes us from, let's see when this takes us from, so it takes us from the 6th through to the 12th of July. Still got this ridge in the northeast, so that should allow hot air to come up from the south across many of those midwestern and eastern states too. And week 4 is very similar, 13th to the 19th of July. Again, a ridge through those midwestern states and going up towards the northeast. That should bring more heat really to many of those northern and eastern parts of America. Temperature anomalies for America at the moment for week 1, 22nd, 28th of June, hotter than average in the west and the northwest. Pretty cool though through many of those midwestern states and going over towards the east. But a big warm-up takes place in week 2. This is 29th of June to the 5th of July. Most parts of America, particularly those northern and northeastern states, going much, much hotter than average. Of course, very hot in the southwest and cooler in the northwest, as is typical. And then we're into week 3, which is going to be the 6th through to the 12th of July. And again, most parts of the state, particularly those northern east areas, looking significantly hotter than average in the northwest. It is cooler through there. And then pretty warm actually for week 4 as well with the CFS. This is the 13th, 19th of July. Very warm in the east, just a little bit cooler in the northwest. So once this week is out of the way, it looks like the Midwest and the east and the northeast will be turning much, much hotter precipitation wise. So week 1, 22nd of June, 28th of June, wetter than average through the Midwest, drier up to the far north and in the southwest. Western parts of America look a little bit on the unsettled side too. Then we go through to week 2, which is the 29th of June to 5th of July, and it's driving down towards the Gulf Coast, interestingly, so certainly no sign of any tropical developments up to week 2. Heavy showers and thunderstorms through the east, dry up towards the northeast though, and wet as we pull out in towards the northwest. And week 3 precipitation is looking like that. Now this is quite interesting. Notice this area is going pretty wet down here from like the Caribbean up towards the south of Florida. We don't have that particularly in week 2. This is week 2 for down here, looking quite dry through that area. But in week 3, which is the 6th to the 12th of July, it does look quite a lot wetter through here. That may be picking up on some sort of tropical development, and over here as well to some degree, drier through here. Overall, the rest of the states looking like it's becoming drier. And then we go through to week 4, which is going to be the 13th to the 19th of July. Again, this southeast corner possibly looking a little bit wetter. Elsewhere, varying from state to state, dry in the northeast, wetter out to, drier, wetter I should say, out to the west. So, yes, it's going to be warming up across the states in the next few days, starting cool and showery through Midwest and the Northeast at the moment, but we will be seeing the temperatures lifting up, and it is going to be getting hotter as we go through the end of week, into weekend, and on into next week. Just perhaps very, very early suggestions of some sort of tropical development sometime around the 6th, 7th, 8th July, sometime around then. So it's early days though, so we'll know a little bit more in a few days' time about that. If you enjoyed this video, then please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back with more content for America and North America. We'll be back with more content very, very soon. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.